Hello and welcome to Big Dash Knows. Big Dash knows what? New York Giants football. Let's go. You see the thumbnail. Let's get right into this. Right into it. So with OTAs starting May 20th this week, and again, this is Sunday where I'm recording, so OTAs really start tomorrow. There's a couple of battles that intrigue me a lot going into the 2024 season, going into training camp, going into the preseason. There's always battles every year, but I always try to showcase some of the more intriguing battles to me personally. And please let me know in the comments down below what you think the most important position battle is going into training camp. So for me, there's three battles. There's cornerback 2, there's the right tackle spot, and then there's who's going to be the running back 2. I think those right now are the most intriguing to me. Might not be necessarily the most important. I will also say, who's playing next to Dexter Lawrence on the D line. You might say it's Nacho. You might say it's Jordan Phillips, the guy that we just picked up in free agency. But that's also, that would be my honorable mention would be who plays next to Dexter Lawrence. But for me in this video, I'm going to be talking about the cornerback 2 spot. I'm going to be talking about right tackle, and I'm going to be talking about running back 2 as well. So just starting off. We saw the presser, Brian Daboll, very confident in Cordell Flott. That's what he said. He think Cordell Flott can be that CB2. And I think a lot of people feel the same. Now, he's been playing more slot than anything. Doesn't have a lot of experience or a lot of reps on the outside, but his frame, size and stuff like, maybe not his weight, but he does have the height to be a boundary corner. But he's definitely one of those guys on that list. But just going down the list of some of the other guys that I'm looking at is, Cordell Flott, of course. I have Nick McCloud. I have Trey Hawkins, too. And then we picked up the free agent David Long. Now, I do believe that the New York Giants will sign another veteran cornerback. I believe they would have to. But again, right now, going off of the roster of what we have right now, I'm looking at Flott, McCloud, Trey Hawkins, David Long as, possible options for the CB2 spot. Now, a lot of people say Flott. Me personally, I like Nick McCloud. I think they give Flott every opportunity to get that spot or to win that spot. But if he does not get that, I believe Nick McCloud could possibly be CB2 going into week 1. Let me know what you guys think about that. Let me know what you got. Now, there's other guys. We just drafted Andrew Phillips, but he's, penciled in as like a nickel slot corner. Darnay Holmes is back on the roster. Who knows if he really makes a 53? He's another guy. Aaron Robinson, the guy that's been injured for the past 2 seasons, another guy. I don't know how healthy he is going into camp, but those are some of those names too. And when you think about those names, I almost have to believe that they're possibly, they got to bring in somebody else for competition. It just doesn't make sense to me that you don't do that, especially with these guys having some injury history as well. Flott hasn't played an entire season the first 2 years he's been here. Nick McCloud again, a young journeyman. Trey Hawkins, another young guy, had high hopes for him last year. Didn't quite pan out, but has the skill set, has the RAS score and everything to be one of those guys that if you can tap into his potential, he can definitely be somebody for the future. And then David Long, again, is another free agent that we picked up. So it all depends on the style of the defensive scheme. Again, Bowen likes to play zone, get pressure with the front 4, and that helps out with a lot of these guys that might not be the strongest when it comes to man if they're covering an area instead. But that's just one of those interesting position battles, and number 1 on my list as far as position battles going into training camp and into the preseason. Now let's talk about running back 2. I thought I wanted to talk about I want to talk about running back 2. So obviously Devin Singletary is the free agent name that we brought in. You penciled him in, or he's penciled in as the starter. He has the most experience. He does have some good production. He's a solid player at running back. He's not a replacement for Saquon Barkley. Hopefully people don't believe that he is that type of player, but he is a solid option at running back. Another thing that we talked about is I expected to be a running back by committee, like a lot of people do. And when you look at that running back 2 spot, for me, I believe it is wide open right now. You don't have Breida on the squad anymore, another veteran behind Devin Singletary. So you're looking at a lot of young guys. fighting for that running back 2 spot. And I was in the spaces and, just asking questions about how many running backs do we keep on the 53. And last year we kept 3, but, we had Saquon Barkley. He's getting the majority of the snaps. In this true running back committee year, I think you have to have 4 running backs on the squad. I really do. 4 running backs on the active roster. And you feed the hot hand, I believe. And I believe all those guys get a jersey, because if you look at some of the names, and again, Devin Singletary is RB1 for me right now. When you look at the names behind that, you have Eric Gray, Tyrone Tracy, Gary Brightwell, Jashaun Corbin, Dante Miller. All these guys are going to have to play special teams in some form or fashion. But when you look at the battle, so the first, we'll go with the draft picks first. So we drafted Eric Gray last year in the 5th round. We got Tyrone Tracy this year in the 5th round. I think that's going to be a very good battle, because even though I think that Tyrone Tracy is the more explosive player and the playmaker, Eric Gray has a leg up on him because of he was already in this system last year. He knows the plays. Now, if Tyrone Tracy jumps into this playbook and gets it down and can prove in camp that he's, ready to go, ready to take that responsibility, then the best man will win that RB2 spot. That takes me to the next guy for the RB3 spot. And I'm thinking on the outside looking in to that RB2 battle, you have a guy like Gary Brightwell, the last year of his contract. You have Jashaun Corbin, who spent a lot of time on the practice squad. I do like Jashaun Corbin a lot. I liked him coming out of Florida State. Really didn't get a chance to prove himself. Again, limited snaps for the New York. When you have Saquon Barkley, when you have a workhorse running back, these guys really didn't get a chance to get the carries. So when you look at a guy like Eric Gray, yes, he was on the team last year, but we don't know what he is. We know that he's not a good returner. That's one thing we do. That wasn't his thing to begin with. And us putting him back there was not the best decision, but we don't know what he really is as a running back. I know what he is coming out of college, coming out of Oklahoma. One cut can get up the field, not a burner. He can break a 20-yarder, but he's not breaking a 60. He doesn't have that type of speed. When you look at Tyrone Tracy, that guy can take it to the house. He can take it to the house almost every time he gets his hands on the ball. 1 year as a running back in college. We'll see how that goes. But also that helps, because when you look at the running back coach and where he came from and the type of running backs are there with the Saints, Tyrone Tracy, I said it in the previous video, reminds me of a guy that you can use like Alvin Kamara. Not saying he is Alvin Kamara, but you can use him in the same way. In the running game, in the receiving game, and he can be an impact player. So with that being said, for me, I like that battle. I think Eric Gray gets the snaps over Tyrone Tracy early in the season. But after that, I can see Tyrone Tracy beating out Eric Gray for sure. Another guy that's on this list, Dante Miller, again, he has to fight for snaps, and he has to fight for, I guess every time he gets the opportunity, he has to take full advantage of it, because I think he's on the outside looking in of even making the 53. He's a 4-2 guy. I understand that. Can he give you some snaps on specials? He can. Could he be a gunner? Possibly, but he's going to have to do a lot of the dirty work. So we'll see what happens, with that. But I like that. And then Jashaun Corbin, again, that's another guy that if he gets the opportunities, he's going to raise a lot of eyebrows. And I think the running back room, even though we lost Saquon Barkley, I think as a committee, we got a solid group of guys if they can all pan out. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, right tackle. Again, Evan Neal. I think they give Evan Neal every opportunity to win the right tackle spot. And I think the insurance policy is Jermaine Illuminor. But I think Jermaine Illuminor is here for more than just insurance. I think he needs to be a part of the starting 5. So whether he starts at guard or starts at tackle, I believe that Jermaine Illuminor, is a starter for the New York Giants. Now, if Evan Neal can beat out Jermaine Illuminor, that means he absolutely earned it, because Jermaine Illuminor is no slouch. He's familiar with the new offensive line coach, very familiar with him. And if you look at Jermaine Illuminor's tape, even last year against the Giants, he was able to do some things to Kayvon Thibodeaux that was pretty damn good. And I don't see a guy like Evan Neal, unless he improves tremendously this year, being able to do the same thing to a guy like Kayvon Thibodeau. But we get to see that battle. And again, I think that's one of those battles that, you know, they give Evan Neal, like I just said, every chance in the world to earn that right tackle spot. But if he doesn't, Jermaine Illuminor will absolutely be the right tackle. And if you're asking me right now today, I'm probably already moving Evan Neal in the guard and putting Illuminor out there. But again, this is their high draft pick from 2 years ago. Joe Schoen is going to give him every opportunity in the world to be the guy. And again, if Neal ends up being the starting right tackle going into the 2024 season, that means he absolutely earned it and deserved it. But again, I think the leash, now beating somebody out in camp is one thing. How you perform during the season is another. And if he does not hold up right, I think the leash on Evan Neal is very, very short. I think they should rotate him in or get him some snaps at guard already in his training camp and preseason just to see how it looks, because I don't want to totally give up on Evan Neal. But if he's not right at outside at tackle, you can't continue to keep putting him out there knowing he's going to be a weak link. But yeah, and like when you have Jermaine Illuminor on the squad, that's a guy that you can absolutely know, or that you absolutely know can be a starter moving forward. And so let me know what you guys think about those three battles. Most intriguing to me. Let me know in the comments down below what you think or what you're looking for as far as these camp battles. And I can't wait to see that and discuss that in the comment section. But with that being said, I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows, Big Blue Nation. Let's go.